hosts, industry expert Imran Pilati.
Saturday morning, September 21st, here at 10:02 a.m. Good morning, everybody. I'm Imran Pilati, your host of the True Sports Card Show here on Sacktown Sports 1140, and I'm here with a full house. I've got Kyle behind the window. He's producing today's show. He's been here bright and early. He started this morning at what, 4:10? 4:30?
4:30.
4:30 a.m. 7:30 a.m. Pacific time.
Does he want a medal
Eastern
or
time.
something? I got here early. It's radio.
Okay.
Hello?
That sweet voice that you just heard is the other person here in the studio with us. One half of the Drive Guys, Whitey Gleason, is here in studio with us. And then we also have the producer of the Drive Guys, Jay Johnson, is here as well. So we've got a full house today. And we're here to talk about cards. Whitey, do you know a bunch about sports cards?
I know a little bit about everything except wrestling cards.
Okay, cool. Yeah. We'll start with wrestling, finish with wrestling, and start the middle portion of it.
Okay, and
with
I
wrestling.
apologize to Kyle. He's my guy.
He is?
But yes. I got here at 4:30. Come on.
It's
Doing morning shows all your life.
Whitey, one up Gleason. Welcome. Well, good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining us on this Saturday morning live and direct here from the Sacktown Sports Studios. Full house. I'm pretty cool with it. You didn't even warn me that you were coming, even though I asked you to attend. No,
yeah.
You said that you weren't sure if you were going to be able to get out of the house and do this.
No, I said I wasn't, didn't I? I think I said
yeah. You said, I'm on lockdown. I'm not going to be able to make it out. And then here you come in here, sunglasses on. You're like, he has arrived. I don't know why you say he has arrived when you walk in the door, but it's just
a habit.
You.
Yeah.
Hey,
are we going to, my only
terms
wax? Is, if you want to be on the show today, which I'm happy to do, we have to call the show the Card Parts. Are we doing that? Card Parts.
So we're,
what do you think, Jay?
Before we started the show, he goes in, he goes, we got to change the name of the show. The Card Parts. And I went, yeah, that's why you don't name the shows, okay? Look out for the Card Parts. Jay, thank you for joining us too, man. I know this morning, both of you have had a very unique and an amazing morning thus far. Before we get into the Card Parts show, Whitey, why don't we start with you and your dog Moby? What?
Oh, Moby's he's old and he had some issues, so we had to let him out, and he fell in the pool, and he's okay. But my wife, Chinya, she's gets up with him in the middle of the night all the time. He's just an old dog, and he requires a little extra care, and he had a rough morning, but he's doing fine now.
Any new tricks?
Getting out of the pool. Yeah.
Well, the way you said it too this morning before we got on the air, you said, "Oh yeah, he fell in the pool," and then that was the end of the story. I was like, "Well," Jay goes, "Did he get out?" Whitey's like, "I don't know. I had to go to the station." Hope he did. Yeah. I'll call my wife during the break and see if he made it out.
But that's nothing compared to what Jay.
Yeah, Jay, what'd you go through this morning?
Just personal situations, man. Just livelihood. A couple windshield issues. A little refrigeration action that needs to be replaced. So I'm on the hunt for a refrigerator right now. At the moment, I'm actually doing True Media stuff, putting it together. But also at the same time, right? Yes,
broken fridge and 2 broken windshields.
Yes, and a daughter with a broken fibia at the same time.
You got a broken digit,
and I have a fractured finger. Man, I'm banged up. It is not a good couple of weeks for me right now.
I will tell you what. I'm doing amazing.
Yes, as you should be.
I went to wrestling last night. Yesterday I was a guest. I was a guest on the Drive Guys yesterday. I was there for the last hour, and I had to get out quickly because I went to WWE SmackDown at Golden One Center. I was an attendee with a ticket of 1, so I didn't have to worry about, can we go get popcorn? Nope, just me doing me. And it was wonderful.
May I ask where you sat?
I sat in a suite.
Okay, big time. You bought that sweet ticket?
No, I got there, and a friend of mine.
Oh yeah.
I go like this. I'm supposed to be here, right?
Climbed over the radio.
So I buy the cheapest ticket, but then a friend of mine who his name is Mike, was there, and he's like, "Hey, I've got a suite, and I got extra tickets." And I was like, first of all, why didn't you call me before I bought the ticket? Yeah. But thank you very much. So I went in the suite. I ate all the popcorn that was available to me,
no doubt.
And it was a great time, and I got to see it, and the show ended by 7 p.m.
It was over?
Yes, because they had to record for the East Coast. So they recorded the show, but then they had another 3 or 4 or 5 matches after that.
Okay.
So Cody Rhodes, who's kind of the face of the WWE right now, he was on the show, and he helped Kevin Owens get out of a predicament. And then they ended the show, and then they take away all the cameras that you see, and then they run another 3 or 4 matches.
What are they
called
doing
dark-
with those matches?
They just wrestle in front of the crowd.
Oh, okay. Just
Yeah.
for entertainment
Yeah.
purposes. I
and
got
and
you.
the amazing part about it, and spoiler alert for those of you that don't know this, but wrestling is pre-scripted. And yeah, it's true. It's not fake. People say it's fake. The guy really is on the top rope jumping on the other guy.
Mm.
That's not fake.
They're athletes.
Correct.
Yeah.
But it is a play. And when they're not recording it for video and they're just doing it in house, they act very different. They're having
Mm.
fun with it. They are, joking. They're doing some things that they normally wouldn't do to suspend. They're not trying to create reality here. It's a lot of fun. And then you'll see the guys after the match hugging and high-fiving that they just wrestled. It's very different in a dark match. That's what they call, or a house show. So it's not something that's televised for the masses. It's just internal. So they had some big wrestlers actually do those matches. Drew McIntyre, Jey Uso, the ones that you love so much.
Jey Uso, yeah.
Yeah.
Number one.
Love 'em.
Yeah. What's his catchphrase?
It's like, hey, what's up?
Yeah, close. It's yeet.
That's dope whack.
So is it dope or is it yeet?
Right,
Can I
right.
tell you, when I first, as a kid, started to suspect that maybe it wasn't all on the up and up, my dad took us to a wrestling match at the Cow Palace, and he was
Love the Cow
he was
Palace.
a sports writer in Vallejo, so he would get really good tickets from the promoter. So we're sitting basically in the second row, and this was old guys like Haystack Calhoun and Ernie
Okay.
Ladd.
Okay.
And so it's me and my brother and his friend Steve, I think, and my dad, and we're sitting there, and all of a sudden we're just watching, and this guy comes over and goes, "Hey, you guys got to move back a couple rows." I'm like, "What?" He goes, "Just for a minute. It'll be fine." I'm like, what? So me and my brother and his friend went back. My dad just sat there. Next thing you know, Ernie Ladd comes tumbling
Into the crowd?
seat. Yeah. And it was funny because he's all sprawled out, and my dad's just sitting there next to him because he didn't get up. But I wondered, how did that guy know?
How did he know that he was going to land right there?
Yeah. Yeah. And I still am not sure. But
Yeah.
that's when I started wondering.
But back then, pre-internet, everybody believed that the people were who they were. The angry, whether
Sure.
it was Bruno.
Lived the character.
I don't know
Bruno
what
Sammartini?
was Bruno Sammartini. Like, what was your?
Well, I
what
saw
was your-
him. I saw him once. Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah,
like, what
who's
was
a
your
championship.
area, the genre that had the wrestlers in there? Do you remember some of the wrestlers?
Yeah, Ray Stevens. This is way back. Pat Patterson.
Pat Patterson.
Hank Renner from Modesto, I think, doing all-star wrestling on KTVU, and I think be Channel 40 up here. Yeah.
So there was no pseudonyms or fake names or any of that stuff. There was no Hulk Hogan's. It was Pat Patterson.
Those
It
were,
was-
yeah.
It
But then
was
they also had, like, I think the
Bob Backlund.
Bob
Remember that?
Backlund.
Iron Sheik and Mr.
course, the Sheik.
Fuji and yeah. all
So
that stuff.
so the Iron Sheik, Mr. Fuji, finally were the names that were not their real names.
I assume
Look
not.
out, it's Pat Patterson. Whoa.
I saw
Ernie Ladd.
Ernie Ladd. Look out for Ernie Ladd.
Ladd. Ernie Ladd played for the Chargers, but I remember Rocky Johnson, of course, who is
Was,
the father of, The Rock.
Was The Rock's dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I had a great time. It was a lot of fun. I ran into quite a few people that actually frequent the store to come by the store.
Oh, great.
They buy
course.
wrestling cards.
I was about to say, do they buy the wrestling cards?
They do.
Okay.
They do.
What's the best wrestling card in the game right now?
Anything Rhea Ripley right now is pretty hot. Do you know who that is?
I do not. That was my next
she's
question.
from Australia. She's kind of the women's face of the WWE. Very tall, very athletic, powerhouse of a wrestler. And Rhea Ripley is just kind of the hottest thing going.
Okay,
Hottest
I'm
thing
looking
going.
at her now. I see you working.
Yeah, she goes by, they call her mommy.
So
they
nickname?
they have rookie cards and everything for wrestling
Correct.
too, right?
Yeah.
Do they?
Absolutely. So that just leads into the card part show.
Card
Let's-
parts.
Let's talk
Call
about.
now.
It's got some of that. I like that. Do that again.
Card parts. Call now.
Saturdays.
339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Here's Emran.
Hi, everybody. Good morning. It's me, Everett Blonde. We're going to use our radio voices. What is happening right now, Kyle? Are you awake? This is like
The problem for me is that I have watched in my entire life about 45 minutes of wrestling, so everything is just going over my
your head.
Yeah,
Over your head.
just I know John Cena is a person. That's about it.
Actually, he uses his real name. I just made fun of the Pat Patterson. Then John Cena uses his real name.
Mm-hmm. I was at one of your competitor stores once before I even knew you.
Don't admit
Hey,
that.
Thank you for the
I didn't even know you.
clarification.
Nah,
didn't
but
know
keeping
you.
it a buck. I
Yeah,
like it.
and they had some wrestling stuff in the back, and I was talking to the guy. I said, I said, why do people buy that stuff? And he said, there's a one of one that's available that's worth, like $50,000. I said, okay, I guess that would be one reason why you'd buy those. I
Yeah.
understand that.
I think what it is that it just brings you back to your childhood
Of course,
because
I get it.
it's one of those things. Speaking of childhood, I went and I stood in the line for 50 minutes, 50 for the merch table. Okay. And it's so long that you go and they call, hey, come on up and get, there's 6 of us. I'm ready for you. And you walk up and you say, I want that shirt in this size. And I want that shirt in that size. I get up there and I'm trying to get 2-year-old Beckett a shirt. Oh, we don't have kid shirts. I said, you don't like you're out. Oh, we didn't have as many. They didn't ship any to us. I said, 1/3 of this arena are children.
Yeah.
And you're telling me that you don't have kid shirts? I said, I have a 2-year-old. What's my options? She brings over a men's medium. And she goes, well, we have this.
Did she give you?
I go, let me just think about this. And then you made fun of me earlier, which was great. You said something. What did you say about my shirt
Oh, I
size?
wasn't going to say that.
Go ahead.
All right.
'Cause I'm
Jay,
gonna
what I
get you
said
later.
was, if they didn't have children's sizes, how did Emron get a shirt for himself? But I wasn't going to say that on the radio.
You know,
I
what
wasn't
remi-
going to go there.
well, when I put the shirt on, when I flex, it rips in the appropriate
boy.
places.
There you go.
Which reminds me of the Incredible Hulk, which I used to watch as a little kid. Bruce Banner would get angry and all of his shirts and everything would rip. But the one thing that didn't rip was that tiny area around his shorts. Never ripped. So maybe it wasn't that incredible after all. All right, let's talk about this. Let's go to trade night. I have a trade night that we're having at our shop.
It's not that incredible. Yeah.
He ain't that incredible. I mean, just that little jean short stayed on.
Yeah.
But everything else ripped.
The mostly incredible with one major
The
exception.
almost
Hulk.
incredible Hulk.
The Incredible Hulk with some decency
Hey,
to wear a
And he
clean
was
pair of pants.
and he was single for a reason.
Yes.
All right. So trade night was going to be on 10/19, October 19th. It's a Saturday.
I think he must have worn those like Hager stretch fit. So when he expanded, they were stretched with him. That's why I didn't tear.
How do you edit live radio? Well, how long of a dump button do we have?
Nice slack.
Yes.
The
Yes.
elastic waistband.
Yeah.
There you go.
It wasn't the waistband that I want.
Oh,
That's,
well,
that we're
okay.
worried about. It's, anyways.
Yeah.
Moving on.
The jorts did not rip. Everything else
The
ripped.
shaggings.
The shagging.
Card part.
Welcome to Card Part, where we talk about the Incredible Hulk and what doesn't rip. All right. Trade night, October 19th. We are going to be having it at the store. I've rented a tent like it's Circus Vargas or something in the parking lot. So we're going to have a big trade night. We're inviting everybody to come. Bring your cards, buy, sell, and trade with friends, make new friends. And we have a friend of the station as well as a friend of True Sports Cards, Kevin Herter.
Kevin
Will
Herter
be
slide.
on site signing autographs.
Or as
He'll be there.
P-Bev calls him, Kevin Herterer. Did you hear that?
Pat Beverly called him that.
Yeah,
Yes.
he said, is the X factor for the Kings this year? Kevin Herterer. But then I thought, Jay played it yesterday. I thought, he just kind of misspoke. But every time
That's what he says.
Kevin
Yeah.
Herterer.
It's his name, baby.
But he said really nice things about him.
The Herterer will be signing autographs
That's
from
great.
4
That's what's
to
up,
6
man.
p.m. We have tickets available for sale at $30. Any item that you want, you can have it signed by Kevin Herter.
Really?
Yep. You could come in. You can purchase your tickets on our website, which is truesportscards.com. Look at the section that you can search, type in Kevin Herter, not Herterer.
Right.
Just type in Kevin. You'll find it. Tickets will be $30. However, for those of you listening right now, for the next 20 people, if you go to truesportscards.com, get to the Kevin Herter ticket, put it in your cart, and put in the promo code Sacktown Sports 1140. That's Sacktown Sports 1140. You will get your ticket for free. You just got to fill out the information so I can spam you later via email. Have you on our mailing list. Sacktown Sports 1140. You'll be able to get your ticket. There's only 20 available for free.
What?
But please jump on it right now.
This is a heck of a deal because I'm going there right now.
What you think?
And can I put my name in there?
You can. No purchase
That's not
necessary.
illegal?
It-
Conflict of interest.
Oh, it is a conflict of interest. Sorry, Jay. You'll
No
have
problem.
to pay.
I'll put my daughter's name or something to that name.
There you go. Nothing
I'll
like.
put Emron Pilati. Would
Yeah.
anyone recognize that name?
I'll be like this. In arm pulley though.
What about
Is that
this?
the host of the card part?
He's the main
He's the
card
main
part.
card. He's the card parter.
What about this? Will you be? And I know this is probably a dumb question. Will you have Kevin Herterer memorabilia
I will.
and hobby things on hand for that to be autographed?
It's easier for me to make a decision to buy things like jerseys, cards, and photos when I know the guy's highly likely to be on the team. As we've gone through this before, the Malik Monk situation was a perilous one for me, considering that we had the signing in May and free agency was starting July 1st, and we weren't sure. And again, you guys saw him during that weekend. Malik was very coy about whether or not he was going to re-sign with the Kings. We were all very nervous about it. And the guy was like, of course I was going to sign with him. Of course. It's like, wait a minute. That would have been nice to tell me before I bought all those jerseys. But yeah, it worked out well. So Kevin, we'll have jerseys of Kevin's. We'll have photos of Kevin's. We'll have cards of Kevin. So if you have anything that you want to get signed, you're welcome to get them signed. As well as if you don't have anything, we have items for you to purchase. So that way you can do it. And we'll keep it affordable for you. $30 to meet an NBA player today is very inexpensive in the grand scheme of things. There was recently a signing done by Aaron Rodgers. I know it's a different sport and a different player. Aaron Rodgers, mail-in only. Item. Mail-in only. Can't meet him. $699 for an autograph on a flat item. So if you wanted a card or you wanted a photo, $699. Now, I'm not saying Kevin Herter and Aaron Rodgers are the same, but that gap is pretty big, especially if you're not going to get to meet him. So come and meet Kevin. He's going to be there from 4 to 6, and then we have our trade night directly behind it from 6 to 9.
That's great.
6 to
Big
question.
time right there, man.
I know that you guys will be there if you're allowed out of the house.
Well, I was gonna, but then I found out no card parts merchandise is there yet. So
well, we just named the show today, so just give us a chance. I gotta make some phone calls and make sure that we get the screen. We got to create the logo
okay,
of the
I get
card parts.
that's really awesome. What time tonight with Kevin Herter? If I wanted to go see Kevin Herter.
Well, it's not tonight. It's
October 19th.
It's October 19th.
October 19th.
Yeah,
Good.
so you'll be there a little early.
yeah, right.
Or maybe a lot.
Feel free to camp out. Camp out.
The 19th is a Saturday.
Correct.
Absolutely. 4 to 6. We'll be in attendance.
Yeah, why not?
Sure.
Yeah, of course. Drive guys. We'll be in there.
Oh, that'd be great. Kyle will show up. He'll be like, "My man, Kevin."
My
be like,
guy.
Don't you? Haven't I seen you on a plane before? All right. Our guys are on the Newark Card Show. They're there right now. Donovan and Ethan. They're at Newark, California at a card show. They are out there buying, selling, trading, doing what we do. Feel free if you happen to be in the Newark area, which is, for those of you that don't know, that's over by Fremont. For those of you that don't know where Fremont at this point, forget it.
Yeah.
There's a thing called Google. You can check that out. They are there right now buying, selling. And Jay, I've been trying to buy a lot of cards.
Yeah, I've heard
A lot.
I've heard. I literally, not to cut you off, I literally just got a text from somebody, my friend who's listening to the show. He said, "Can you please repeat that code?"
Oh, for the free stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. Hey, I got a friend of mine wondering, where do I get the free stuff?
But he's gonna buy stuff. He's one of those guys. He loves the Kings, man.
All right.
So he comes and
All
supports.
good.
And he
All-
already supports your store.
Promo code CardPard.
Yes, card pard, and the Z. It's pards with a Z.
Oh, that's off the hook.
That is just whack. We got to go into that in a second. We're gonna have some fun with that. The promo code is Sacktown Sports. That's SACTOWN Sports 1140.
There you
Sacktown
go.
Sports 1140. It's not Sack SACK. That's not how Sacktown Sports is spelled. Sacktown Sports 1140. That way we know that you were listening to the radio show when you got your free ticket.
There you go.
And most importantly, we'd love your information via email. That's the important one. So that way we keep in contact with you and do all the other stuff. So Jay, going back to buying items, a lot of people ask, well, what are you buying? Well, what I'm looking for right now is creating inventory for the store. I need it badly. I'm spending heavy. I'm looking to buy items between $50 and $300. If your card is approximately worth that, and we'll comp it together. And when I say comp, you'll come into the store, we'll look up your cards together, we'll establish the value, and then we'll make an offer based on the value. I'm looking for cards between $50 and $300. And if they're graded, it's much easier for me because there's a definitive price when a card is graded, right? So we know what a PSA 10 goes for, etc. And then I'm looking for items between $500 and $1,000. So that gap between $300 and $500, not so much. I'm looking for cards worth between $500 and $1,000.
Ooh.
And then I'm looking for cards worth 2,000 or more. Yesterday, I bought 2 Michael Jordan rookie cards, PSA 3 and PSA 4. The values of those were roughly about $2,900 and $3,200. I bought both of them yesterday. That's correct.
Okay.
Number 57, the Jordan rookie. So I bought 2 of those yesterday for resale that we're going to be selling. So if you have any of those cards, please call the store at 916-259-1993. I almost gave the radio station's number, which Kyle would have been answering questions about buying cards here. If you call the show here, 916-339-1140. But I would love to take a call or two for anybody that's listening live. We know that your friend is listening, so he'll probably go, okay, I'm calling in. Just want to know, what's that free code again? It's Sacktown Sports 11.
He literally just said, can I please ask him to buy a jersey? And like, of course, dog.
Yeah, the jerseys are not expensive. It's going to be $40. We have $40 jerseys. They're custom jerseys. We created them for the event. Go. So there you go. So we have that. And then again, I'm also buying wrestling and UFC cards under $100. So I'm looking for stuff between $10 to $100. Yeah, we're running a Whatnot, and I'll explain that in just a second. We'll go through that together. And then another item I just wanted to say, I'm launching a VIP program. There's going to be only 50 of these available. It's a year-long program that we're going to be offering. I think we're going to start offering that November 1st, and I'm going to give you all the details. It's going to run right around $1,000.
Love it.
But it's going to have 4 events exclusive to the members of this club. And the 4 events would be like one that we know for a fact is going to be
autograph car show.
Well, they'll have tickets, all that stuff included. But the first one is going to be like a watch party of the movie Rudy with Rudy Rudiger himself. So we will have that event. I only have 50 VIP passes for the entire year. And so that's part of it. So you'll be able to be in an intimate setting, 50 people watching the movie Rudy with Rudy Rudiger, getting autographs, getting to meet him, take photos, that kind of thing. So we have that as an event.
Very outgoing.
Awesome, dude.
Yeah.
Awesome, dude. Motivational speaker. I've been working with Rudy for years. I did a podcast with him. He's great.
Yeah.
Great. You should have him on Drive, guys. He's a very, very good interview.
Well, let me say this as the producer of the Drive Guys. I'm a Knicks dad because he's no Notre Dame guy. I can't stand Notre Dame.
Okay.
No,
Yeah.
I'm just
I would.
I'm just playing.
Would he be on Mount Rudy more? Rudy Gay, Rudy Tomjanovich,
Rudy Rudiger, and then who's the
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, if there's a
Rudy Law. Remember Rudy Law?
If there's 4 spots on Mount Rushmore and you can only name 3, my guess is he'll probably make it.
Rudy Ray. Dolomite. Dolomite is Rudy Ray.
No, Rudy Gobert.
The Stifle Tower. You forgot him.
Rudy the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Yeah, I think he's on it, though.
Yeah, these are good segments. Mount Rushmore of the first names here on the Drive Guys next.
Yeah.
That's a good one, actually.
No, that's a Card Parts.
It's a Card Parts exclusive.
Yeah.
Okay. For those of you that know, we are on Whatnot, the app. Are you on Whatnot, Whitey?
I am not, sir.
Do you even know what it is?
It's an app.
Nice.
Yeah.
Auction app.
Correct. It's an auction type app.
I think J. Ross, seriously, I think J. Ross gets cards on there.
He's been on there. Yeah, he's been on there. If you go to the Whatnot app and download it, there's the ability for you put all your information in there, including your credit card information. So it's a swipe, almost like a dating app. Like, I like this card, I want to buy it. Swipe. I'm making a bid on it. We have our own show that we do 4 days a week. And we have this app we have the app Whatnot, and under True Sports Cards on Monday nights, I do it. I'm the one that's putting the cards in front of the auction and selling them for $1 and letting them go. We do wrestling and UFC on Monday nights. Tuesday nights with our TCG channel, which stands for Trading Card Games, we have our Pokemon night. That's done by Donovan and Ethan. Wednesday nights at 5:00, Dave does his. He does singles, all sports auctions. And then on Thursday nights, we do all sport auctions, but more of a higher end cards. Those are 4 nights a week on the Whatnot app. If you should just join, check it out, see if you like it. It's one way to get cards and they get mailed to you, or you can do local pickup, one of the two. Okay, guys, let's talk about some cards and some pards.
May I tell you a real quick, seriously, a Pokemon story?
Yeah, I can't wait.
My son-in-law, he collected Pokemon cards, and his mother bought him a bunch of I think they call them like the bubble packs, which is like a plastic. There's cards inside the cardboard, and then it has the plastic, and then inside is the cards. His mom bought him a bunch of those, and then I guess they kind of outgrew him, and she never gave them to him. So right before he got married, she gave him, Jack, and all his brothers these cards, and it paid for a good chunk of his wedding.
Really?
Wow.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
so Pokemon cards came out in the late 90s. They were really starting to hit their mainstream right around 99, 2000. So you're saying that those
Blister
were from those
pack,
years?
right? Is that what they call it? A
A
blister?
booster.
Pack? Oh, okay.
Booster pack.
Okay. Anyway, yeah, it was a significant amount of money that he got.
Man,
Yeah.
was the wedding fancy?
It was very nice.
Good.
Very nice.
Hey, shout out Pikachu.
Yeah.
Shout out Charizard.
Yes.
What? Wow, this cake is delicious. Where'd you get it from? Well, I don't know where we got it from, but Blastoise paid for it.
I'll take your word for
Oh.
it. Yeah.
Hitmonlee was the reason why we did it. I don't even know what I'm saying half the time. The kids come in, they go, "Excuse me, do you have any Charizard's first edition?" And I just point at my guys. I go, "I don't know. Him?" So it's a lot
Talk
like you.
to him.
Because, yeah, I'm a cards parts guy. I don't know any of this Pokemon stuff.
It was a very fancy wedding. They asked me to officiate. So that tells you what a high class affair it was.
Now, when you get to officiate, do you use your regular voice or your radio voice? Because there are two different voices. I don't know if people know this, but you sound a little different on the radio. And
Well,
it's more authoritative on
you
the radio.
have to enunciate. You have to project a little more when you're, talking to people.
Yeah.
So
And
yeah,
I need to work on that. I've been on the radio for almost a year now, and I still haven't figured out this radio voice.
You have your voice is your voice. It's fine. It's
Natural,
good.
organic.
Yeah.
Keep it natural. Keep it organic.
You have
Really?
to find my wife. She's a speech therapist. She said everyone has an optimum pitch.
Mhm.
And some people they talk higher than they need to, and some people talk lower. But if you find your optimum pitch, it's the most resonance, and it's like boom. It's like whoa. You find your sweet spot.
But when people talk when they go inflected voice upwards, it actually is more of a right.
yeah,
convincing?
yeah.
Yes.
And
yes.
I used to date a girl. Thank God I don't anymore. I have a wonderful wife. She's amazing. I just want to make sure I said that in case she ever listens.
She wouldn't go to wrestling with you.
She would not go to wrestling with me. That's for sure. I can say anything I want when I'm at wrestling because
I think
nobody's
counts
there
in
with
her
me.
Favor, but
Right.
yeah.
Nobody's there with me. But I used to date a girl who talked like this. Everything would always go up. Do we have the Charizard? Is this the card parts? And I was like, I can't. I think we dated for a week and a half. And I was like, I can't take this anymore. Are you on the radio? Like, what is.
Oh, you busted her out. We gonna put her name out there too.
Why not? Her name is. All right. Let's talk about what came out this week. Cards.
Ooh.
We had some cards that came out. We had the new releases. Gold Standard 2024 Gold Standard football hobby boxes. These were featuring the new players for this year in their uniforms, NFL uniforms. Those are people like JJ McCarthy, Michael Penix Jr.
Who's the hot rook right now? Him? All the
they're-
quarterbacks, of
They're
course.
all not playing well. and
well, JJ's not playing.
Well, yeah. So he's not playing bad or good.
Yeah, Michael
that's
Penix isn't playing.
I think that let's talk about this because you guys are sports experts, and we'll lead into the card portion of it. So if you think about this, quarterbacks in the collectivity world are the gold standard.
Right.
As I'm talking about this card box, gold standard.
You're on fire.
I connected it really well. It's called a segue. And so when you look at these players, Caleb Williams, Drake May, Bo Nix, Jaden Daniels, out of all of them, Jaden Daniels is, and I'm doing the air quotes, playing the best.
Yeah,
They're all not great right
None of them
now.
have thrown a touchdown pass yet.
Is that true?
that is true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We three have the same number of touchdown passes as Bo Nix, Caleb Williams, and Jaden Daniels.
Jaden
So
Daniels.
does that say that the Denver Broncos have not had a thrown touchdown at all this year? That's true. then.
Correct. Yeah, or the Washington Commanders,
Yeah. It's
or
only been 2 games.
the
but yeah,
Chicago
that's
Bears.
true.
Yes,
Yeah.
That is just wild.
Chicago won all defensively week 1. Jaden Daniels won off of 7 field goals. Right, beat Jake
Giants.
Moody, who had 6. They had 7 last week, and Bo Nix hasn't come close yet.
And that drives product for that year. Quarterbacks do it. Now we have other players that are rookies that can drive product. As an example, the one rookie that's playing very well, but only from 1 week, not the previous week, is Marvin Harrison Jr.
Mm.
Mhm.
When we saw that he was having 2 touchdowns, 4 catches for 130 yards in the first quarter, I was like, this dude's about to go off for 250 yards. Then he didn't. I don't think he had a catch after that,
No,
which is disappointing, but still an amazing day. But when you had these Malik Neighbors, you had these other Roma Dunze, you had these players that are also hyped coming in. They have a longer leash of collectability than a quarterback because they're like, well, if they had a quarterback throwing to them, they would do well. There's still hope. But when you watch a player like a Bryce Young or you watch somebody like struggling like Caleb Williams, you're like, this guy's supposed to cook the offense and he sucks. Or he's not playing well. So they're instantly having drops in their prices or collectability because they're the ones that are supposed to facilitate the game. And when they're not, their cards suffer, not like a Malik
That's
Neighbors or
interesting.
somebody else.
On the other side of that same coin, this is a question, not a statement, because I don't know. Okay, the non-quarterbacks have a longer leash, so to say, as you pointed out, but the ceiling's lower, isn't it? Top flight receiver's never going to be as valuable as a top flight quarterback, right?
That's correct. However, it's not that far off.
Oh, okay.
It's not
Really?
that far off. Yeah, if you think about Garrett Wilson, he's very collectible. If you think about somebody like
Jamar Chase.
Jamar Chase, very collectible. So the hot quarterback's got to throw to somebody,
Mhm.
right? And that's the hard part about it. But then you don't necessarily have that. As an example, Justin Herbert, very collectible. People
Is
love,
he?
yeah.
Wow.
Jay doesn't like him.
Yeah, got on the West Coast. He's got the long hair, not long flowy hair.
Sure.
Trevor Lawrence, they're very collectible.
Okay.
Even though they don't have a stand, like you can't really say that there's a Chargers standout wide receiver.
Not
What
anymore.
they have last year, Keenan Allen.
Keenan Allen. Yeah.
And he's not
Mike
very
Williams,
collectible.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like, who's his receiver now? Quentin Johnson,
Mm-hmm. One of them.
who's like,
They're running like everybody.
J.K.
That's almost
Dobbins.
true of everybody. They're running
Right.
the ball.
So it's a lot. The collectability really comes down to who is it that that's facilitating the offense, and so
Okay.
it's hard to invest in wide receivers when the quarterback's not playing quality ball yet. So in this gold standard, the interesting part about it is that Panini, as we've talked about in many shows already, has very few exclusive to Panini guys. Because Topps and Fanatics, which is the same company, has locked down a lot of these guys for exclusive autograph agreements.
Which is our way of undermining
Undermining.
the fact that Panini has a license.
The
Correct.
licensing.
So
Yeah.
they-
the licensing, but we got the guy.
Got
We got the
yeah.
guys. So they've done that in basketball with Wembanyama. They're doing it now with football. So Caleb Williams, Drake May,
Mm.
Bo Nix, all these guys are exclusive to Topps Fanatics. So their autographs are not in product. So the players and their cards are in the Panini product, but their autographs are not. And autographs drive the business. So the top two guys in the Panini Gold Standard product is going to be JJ McCarthy, who's not playing this year because he's injured,
Right.
and Michael Penix Jr., who is not playing because he's behind Kirk Cousins at this point.
So, as a novice collector, should I be looking like yesterday on our show? You talked about pretty much Bryce Young is at this point is the heartbeat is dead.
We're going to talk about that for sure because that's a collectible black hole that we need
Wow.
to talk about.
So, I guess the flip side of that, M, is being the expert that you are. Should I be investing right now into the Penix and McCarthy, knowing that I might be able to catch it, at a lower price, and hopefully JJ next year or when Penix jumps up, I might have some value on the back end.
A player that's injured is always difficult to say, let's invest in him, right? But the scenario is more important. Okay, so who's one of the hotter quarterbacks coming into this week 3? We know that Derek Carr is one of the hottest quarterbacks, but who's the other? If you were to name top 5 quarterbacks, forget the name portion, the way
Right.
that they're playing.
Probably Darnold,
There you go.
Baker Mayfield.
Darnold is an example.
Mhm.
So what happens if Darnold does really well this year? Let's just say that he goes on they get 10 wins in NFC North and they do pretty well. Do you resign Darnold? Because he was a 1 year, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
He's a 1 year.
Yeah.
So do they resign a guy like that? Do the Minnesota fan base go, nah, get rid of him. He brought us to playoffs and let's get JJ McCarthy in there. You're in a position very similar in the sense of the replacement of the Brock Purdy aspect of things. Brock Purdy did so much better than Trey Lance. Even though Trey Lance didn't see much of the field, they were like, well, we can't put Trey Lance in because Brock's doing awesome for us. If Darnold does somewhat well this year, that's a hard place to be if you're JJ McCarthy and a collector of him or an investor of him, because now he's going to be sitting behind Darnold, right? Because Darnold's playing well enough. So I'm hesitant to invest while the replacement is playing fairly well.
Got
right?
you.
Because you just never know.
Or Darnold could go to another team.
Right. Yeah.
He might ask
So
for, he might ask for 30 million a year. I don't know if
Yeah,
they'll get it.
true.
You know,
Yeah.
let's say you ask for 25, 30 million a year, and they're like, yeah, we don't want to make that kind of investment in a guy that's 27, 28 years old. Let's just go with a young guy that we thought was gonna, he's from Michigan. We saw him play. He won a national championship. This is our guy for the future.
Yeah.
Scoot.
Okay.
We'll take it. So it's too early to tell.
But if you thought Bryce Young was really good, and I don't know if anybody does, but if you did, and you thought, oh, he's going to be really good eventually, one way or the other, this would be an opportunity, right?
I actually have the stats. It's insane.
Wow. Because I actually thought Bryce Young was going to be okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And
and listening, being around you and being Imran, I'm pointing at you, and being around the True Sports Car family up to this point now, I've been told buy low, sell high, right? In many instances, and it's a gamble. But Bryce Young coming into the season was one of those, like, you know what? I might, and there's a plethora of
value
his
there.
cards
Yeah.
here. So
So even though we were talking about the Panini Gold Standard, which is at our shop right now, $400. If you pay cash, it's $380 because I don't have to pay the credit card fee. So I pass along the
Oh, boy.
savings to you.
my apologies.
No problem. I just want to make sure that it's 5 autographs for Mem, 2 base cards. You're getting 7 cards for $400. It's one of those higher end products. If you hit, you hit. It's
That's
one
right.
of those big ones.
That's right.
Let's go to Bryce Young because you wanted to talk about that. I wanted to show you some stats on this thing. Okay. This is pretty amazing. You're going to be blown away. Okay. So when we talk about investing in quarterbacks in particular, if I look at Bryce Young before the season started, roughly was, let's see here, on September 1st, if you were to buy Bryce Young, his PSA, what we're looking at is the 2023 Prism Silver PSA 10. This is best rookie.
Mhm.
That isn't autographed or any of that stuff. It's just one of those that you would consider
Not
as,
numbered, but just
you consider this as one of his primary rookies. On 9/1, there were 3 sales that were done on September 1st, 237, 222, and 242.
Oof,
$242,
steep.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For someone that go ahead. Low value.
3 weeks later, yesterday, the same card, remember, 237, 222, 242, the same card, 104, 89, and $80.
whack.
It is whack. It is 1/3 the
Dang.
price. It's
And that still sounds a little high to me, to be honest.
Yes.
The way he's playing.
Yes.
I mean,
But I get it.
he's not injured and his arm still
Yeah, I
works.
know.
So I guess there's hope. But if you think about this, Canales was not his coach. So
the
he has no
quarterback
ties to
coach,
him.
yeah.
There's a new GM in there. This is not the team that drafted him. So they don't have any loyalty to him specifically. So there's some consideration there. This is the buyer beware section. This is where you go in and you want to get cutesy and you're like, oh, you know what? The Panthers were terrible last year and Bryce Young looked terrible, but you know what? I have no clue, but I'm pretty sure that he's going to be great this year. So I'm going to buy him on the come up and see what happens.
Yeah.
And this is where we have these issues
Wow.
when you invest in it heavy like that. So it's okay to diversify your card portfolio, but maybe not heavy into one guy on the top end until you really see the upward trajectory. Jordan Love was a great example last year. Jordan Love was an unknown until Rodgers was shipped out of town. And then he had a little struggles, but the last 6 or 8 games of the year, the guy was playing incredible.
Yeah. in
Pro
the
Bowl
playoffs.
level.
Mhm.
Right. Pro Bowl level. So now you have evidence that this guy's worth investing in. And people invested in him heavy going into this year. And until he got hurt, he played fairly well in the first game. So this guy has the potential of really being a solid, tier 2 collectible person, like below a Mahomes type of situation.
But have you missed the boat now
Not
with
really.
Jordan Love? Okay.
Depends where the boat goes.
Right.
Truth.
He still has upward trajectory.
Okay.
I think one person to really be paying attention to is going to be Trevor Lawrence.
Mm.
I think Trevor Lawrence right now is in one of those scenarios to where he's got to make it. There's a bust or break decision here.
Mm-hmm.
He signed that big contract, so they're going to make that commitment to him. But he's got a wide receiver in the name of Brian Thomas Jr. And he's pretty good. And they're not throwing to this guy.
Yeah.
He's throwing a lot of short stuff.
Yeah.
Which a
it's-
lot of people are doing this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many times have you gone to the stats at halftime and you're like 85 yards?
Oh yeah, all the passing numbers are down across the board for the most part.
What, based on your research, what's What's the reasoning behind it?
It's a reaction to the way teams are defending now and the whole too high safeties things, and teams are trying to make sure they don't give up the big plays. You know, what happened to the 49ers?
Like a 97-yard touchdown that goes over the,
right,
over the
right.
top.
Or your
they're,
safety covers the best wide receiver.
Yeah. They'll give, take what they give you. And right now, a lot of defenses are giving.
Dink and dunk.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not exciting football, and I'm sure Goodell's probably pretty unhappy about that being the case. He wants 97-yard touchdowns over the top.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when you think of exciting players and guys on the come up, like I like Anthony Richardson.
I love him. We love him.
That guy on his back foot threw something 60 yards
I
in the
know.
air. That was insane.
So if I'm coming into your store, True Sports Cars, give the address, Emery.
It's 6661 Stanford Ranch there in Rockland.
There you go, sir. If I'm coming into True Sports Cards, I would imagine I'm going to see a plethora of Trevor Lawrences now, a plethora of Bryce Youngs, or are you guys now, like you said, it's a black hole with something? Are you taking that off the shelf?
I take the hit. I just get rid of it for the price that it should go for at the moment. Yeah.
So it might be a good buy for a collector right now to come into the store.
If I was to tell anybody to do anything, it'd be coming into the store on a Sunday and watching football. We run Red Zone. So I love watching Red Zone because it just, my ADD allows me to see what's happening and quickly between a bunch of different games. And this year they've really loaded the 10 o'clock a.m. Pacific games heavy. That load is heavy. And then they're really light on the second.
Right.
It's 4 games.
Like 4
now.
games.
Yeah, it's only
But
4.
there used to be like, evenly.
Yeah.
And now it's like 8 in the morning and then 4 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
So if you come in, we open at 10 for a reason. We open at 10 for the games. We've always been open Sundays at 10 and sit there and watch the games with us. I'm not going to reprice cards in the shop at the moment. When there was a guy that was sitting in our shop, and we'll talk about Ohtani here in a few minutes. When Ohtani hit that crazy game, and he went to the case and went, I'll take that one, I'll take that one, take that one, take that one. And this guy instantly got equity because he was buying the cards at the stated price before the 50-50 happened.
Wow.
So if you come in and you have a player that kind of
It's
goes
like
off,
watching the ticker almost. In a
Yes.
way.
I want to say
Dow
this,
Jones,
and,
baby.
and,
Yeah.
and I mean it with all my heart.
NASDAQ.
This is the stocks for sports enthusiasts. Cards are the stock. People go, well, why wouldn't you just buy Apple or why wouldn't you just buy Amazon? Because it won't drop 40 on a Tuesday night, right? That I'm watching on TV. When Malik was doing his thing, or when Keegan hit the 12 3-pointers, his cards went skyrocketing that night. Now it came back down to earth, but for that moment, you got that stock that really did well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
when you're sitting in the store and a player goes off and a Marvin Harrison Jr. catches, there's not very many Marvin Harrison Jr. cards out there because of licensing issues or whatever, but the ones that we did have, people were like, I'll take that one. I'll take that one. You're physically sitting in a place to where you're sitting in the stock exchange, being able to buy the stock off the
Everyone's
shelf.
over there. Okay, guys, we're closing early.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I go,
Emergency.
emergency meeting with my team. Quickly pull all the Otanis off the shelf and reprice them. I mean, truly, that's kind of what it is. And so that's the best way to take advantage of a scenario is go to a shop that has a lot of selection like ours, sit there, watch the games with us, high five us, cry with us, whatever it is, as you're going through the emotions of your team's ups and downs, and invest accordingly. It's a good time to do that. It's a lot of fun.
Real quick, going back to Anthony Richardson, and this is something Jay and I talked about this week. The 2 quarterbacks with the lowest percentage so far this year, Imran, of passes at or behind the line of scrimmage, there's 2 guys that are tied for the lowest percentage. One is Anthony Richardson. Do you want to guess who the other one is?
I'm going to guess Brock Purdy.
That's correct.
And the reason
Yeah.
why I say Brock Purdy is because I saw some gadget plays last week that was just kind of weird. The one where it was like 3rd and 1 or 3rd and 2, and Brock drops back. I think it's a 2-step, and then he throws a lateral. I think it's to
Debo.
The one to Debo?
It was
That
to
guy-
Debo got
and
knocked
then
down.
the
right?
defensive player knocked
Yeah.
it.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
I'm saying to myself, what are we doing?
Never
here?
seen that before.
Yeah.
honestly.
And
And
it-
you're right, though, that was a lateral. It wasn't considered a
It's like
forward
a
pass.
lot of dink and dunks for
Yeah.
and whenever you see Brock throw downfield, it's pretty amazing how open the player is when he actually completes a pass, especially over the middle. The guys there's nobody within 3-4 yards of the guy. So it's weird if they could just create that rush offense normally and just put the pressure, just go and go and go and go. It's a lot like the Sacramento Kings. I know everybody wants to say Kings should play defense and man, just go.
Just run it out.
Whoever has the most points at the end wins. So if you're going
That's true.
140 and they score 136, it's
Run
still
it out
it's
of
still a dub,
Mm.
right? So I just feel like stop playing these little dinky dunk games, get into the offense, get some excitement going for your fan base, and I'd rather lose. I hate saying this, I'm so cliche. I'd rather lose 38-42 than I would watching what I just watched last week, because it should have been a blowout by the Vikings. If Fred Warner didn't punch out that thing
Yeah.
right at the goal line,
Interception.
there was a bunch of stuff there. It could have been a blowout. So, push the gas to the metal. Here on the Pards show, we talk about these kinds of things. I got to talk about Ohtani before the end of the show. So let's spend some time talking about that. Are we looking at, guys, in your opinion, are we looking at the greatest baseball player of our generation at the moment?
Don't ask him.
You are a
Well, actually, it's the way
Baseball-
you phrased it, yeah.
you
He's
are a baseball
player.
savant, Jay. What's your
Give me the
thoughts?
era. Last 10 years, 15. What's an era for you?
Let's say when the Barry Bonds era ended, let's say mid 2000s.
Okay.
That's now this generation. So
Yeah.
say from Trout forward. So maybe 2010 forward.
Mm.
The last 15 years
Yeah, I'd probably still go Trout.
Okay.
And then I'd probably go Ohtani.
because of the longevity. Of
Longevity.
what Trout's
Yeah.
been able
And
to
the
do.
other part about Trout for me is he's always injured. Feels like he's always, he's banged up, and I won't say
Probably moving out of
always.
center field now.
Oh yeah, he's talking about corners aren't even
Yeah.
first base,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
so he is injured readily. Like
Mhm.
he's one of those guys who stays injured a little bit, but the stuff he has done, even injured, plagued, I'd give it to him right now. That was kind of the conversation we had yesterday. This is 5 years in for Shohei. Give it to me another 5, and then now I think we're starting to have a conversation, and not meaning the best in the era, but now I think we start to have that conversation of greatest ever.
I think he's the best in the game at the moment.
Oh,
of all-
easy,
of
easy.
all
Yeah, easy.
actual players. It's
Yeah.
him, Judge. You've got some other guys that are
Like
actually.
Mookie Betts.
Yeah, you have some other.
Yeah.
Mookie Betts is always in the conversation. You have some guys that are entering the conversation, like Bobby Witt Jr.
Junior. Yeah.
Like those kinds of guys are. And you notice that we don't talk about pitchers because pitchers are not collectible in baseball cards. Truly,
Really?
not like the old days when you had the Bob Gibsons and the Whitey Fords.
They
And,
don't throw as many innings. They don't win as many games.
yeah, I don't know if we'll ever see another 300 pitcher again.
Who's the
300
pitcher
win
to collect if I am collecting someone right now?
If you were
Is
to-
it the name? Is it Paul?
Skeens.
It's got to be Paul,
Skeens.
right?
Yeah,
okay.
Skeens is the guy right now.
Got you.
Locally, Mason Miller does really well.
See?
Really?
And
Yeah.
please don't give them away.
Mason Miller has more. I think it was like 40% of his pitches, total pitches. He's a relief pitcher, so he doesn't throw as much as others. But 40% of his pitches, I believe, are
For
like
outs?
over 100 miles an hour.
Dang.
I mean, that's crazy. So the excitement of the fireball, the flamethrowers are always there. But like for the most part, like if I was to collect anybody right now, I'd probably collect Kershaw, even though
Okay.
I'm a Giants fan.
No, he's going to the Hall of
Yeah,
Fame.
he's guaranteed, yeah.
Okay.
Verlander,
Yeah.
So you've got these guys that are just all-time greats.
If we can sneak it in, I know you got to talk about Shohei real quick. Don't divert the show because you have some things. But Hall of Fame, like we've been talking about Hall of Fame real fast this past week, guys that may be on the borderline of making the Hall of Fame. And I'll just say, I know you talked about like Torrey Holt, guys like that who may be collectible or, easy on your pockets. Should we be hunting those cards down right now too?
It's interesting because if we look at history, they're not as exciting as a collectible as you would think.
Mm.
Example, Harold Baines got into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody excited about Harold Baines going into the Hall of Fame. It's just one of those, oh yeah, he had 3,000 hits. Took him 24 years to get there, but like
As a fan, it took me, a long time to realize that because I got all these cards of these guys, like, and to me, it's like, this guy's great. But as collectibles, they're like,
Nah.
there's some guys that should be in that you thought would be in, and then there's guys that you're like, how did they get in? Beltre was an example. He got in this year.
Yeah.
Adrian Beltre. Cumulatively, absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. But did you ever sit there and go, man, Adrian Beltre is one of the top 5 guys in the league right now? You really didn't think like
yeah,
that.
there's a couple years, but yeah.
But then
I
you
hear
look
what
at
you're saying.
Other Hall of Famers, just because they're on the brink doesn't mean that they're collectible. Edgar Martinez. Okay. He's a Hall of Famer. Ain't nobody talking about Edgar Martinez.
Very true.
Right. So Jim Thome, 600 home runs. Scott Rowland.
Yeah.
Right. These guys are in the Hall of Fame, but nobody's, falling over themselves to go get a Scott Rowland rookie card. So collectability is such a big factor. It doesn't mean that they're not great players, but as far as does anybody go, wow, this is a sexy card, I really want to have it. It's not like Griffey. You know, you have these
Popularity.
iconic players. So why play fringe game with investments when you could just go for the meat and potatoes and know what you got? Trout's going to be one of those guys. Hopefully his injuries don't tarnish him in the longevity of it all, because recency bias comes into play.
Yeah.
When was the last time you saw Trout on the field? I mean, he played 25 games this year? That's tough to remember how great the guy is, because before he got injured, the guy was on fire. I think 10 home runs, something crazy, but that was a long, long time ago. Right. And we've already established that he's got degenerative back issues. The guy's got problems. So he's not going to get better. It's only a decline from this point forward. So a guy like that, he's going to be guaranteed to be in the Hall of Fame. But when you think of like Ohtani and what it is, and I want to show you some numbers. This is the wild part about it. Again, when you're coming up on something that's going to happen, and I don't know why it didn't happen with LeBron. I'll explain that in a second. We knew that 50-50 was a very high possibility, right? For Ohtani. We knew it. It was on the brink of it. 48, something around there. We're like, this guy's got 20 games left to hit two more and steal 2 more. Highly likely, unless they do a Barry Bonds thing where they're walking him every single time, but at least he would have had the chances at the stolen bases. So when you look at this, invest earlier than after, because it's on the brink of this thing. The one time that it didn't see the spike of a major situation like this was LeBron when he went over and beat
points?
Kareem. Yeah, it didn't happen.
Wow.
It didn't happen.
Probably because it was inevitable. You know,
Probably.
there was no surprise. It's like
Whereas
everyone
this,
knew it was going to happen.
yeah, this could
This
be a
was-
chance,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Unless he had a career-ending injury, just short of. Good point. The Ohtani, let me give you the number. We're looking at the 2018, and we only got a minute left, so we'll go through this. The 2018 Bowman Chrome, Shohei Ohtani, number 1, PSA 10. This card has gone up. It is now $910 for this card. Base, not even a refractor or anything else.
Dang.
It has gone up $200 from the time before he got the 50-50 to after the 50-50.
So it was
Literally
next Thursday,
overnight.
right?
Yeah.
Overnight $200 increase on this. If you're going to invest in something, if I was to say invest in anything right now, it'd be Shohei Ohtani.
Really?
That's how it'd be. Yep.
Of any card out
Of
there.
any card player out there. it'd be
Coming to
Shohei
True Sports Cards right now.
Good luck finding it. Here we go, guys. Jay, you're awesome. Thank you for showing up today and being a part of today's
Of
show.
course, man.
Whitey, thank you so much for
Yes,
surprising me
fun.
and being part of it. I don't know. Is this something that you guys, this is a getaway from the family on Saturday mornings? Maybe we could do this more often and see if you could do this. If you don't have, you have a lot of extracurriculars with your family, Jay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all right, though. I
And-
mean, 1 hour's nothing.
Yeah. And Whitey, I know that your wife definitely wants you to leave the house. So for all of us here at True Sports Card Show, aka the Cards Pards, it's me, Jay, Whitey, and Kyle behind the window. We'll see you next Saturday here on Sacktown Sports 1140.
De'Aaron Fox plays here.
Stolen by Fox. Breakaway coming up for De'Aaron. And a simple, casual spike to the left hand. The Kings lead by 3.
Sacktown Sports is your proud home of the Sacramento Kings.
Where do you go when you need someone to represent you? For me, you want someone that is local and that you can actually get to and talk with. There are plenty of big branded lawyers out there with the name, but you never get to talk to them. So go to sacklegaldefense.com